Hey everybody, welcome to Go for Green Living Homestead. My name is Daniel, and this is Cammie and Jill. She is a natural barefoot trimmer for horses, and and recently she started her own YouTube channel, and it's Bottle Tree Farm. Bottle Tree Farm. I'm sorry, I keep wanting to call it Homestead because she's really into homesteading, and I actually met her the other day at the feed store. I was in a bad mood. I'd been working all day and come in there and come to get my feed, and she started talking about goats, and very friendly and everything. Kind of changed my mood and kind of changed the whole tone of my day, which was pretty awesome. I really like her husband. He's a preacher, right?
Yes.
Preacher, and so really down to earth guy and really laid back, and I enjoyed the company. I had a really good time. Now, how long have you been doing this, the barefoot trimming?
I have been trimming horses about 10 years.
10 years. Okay.
Yes, I had a lot of horses, and it was very difficult to keep a farrier.
Farrier, that's the name.
Yes,
I'm trying to think of.
yes, they wouldn't show up or would have drama, and it was just very difficult to consistently have my horses' hoof care the way that I thought it should be. And so I went through about 4 or 5 farriers and found a farrier I really liked, and he taught me to trim horses. And then after he went away, I had a natural barefoot trimmer. And you know, sometimes when you don't even know that you have questions, but then all of a sudden questions that were lingering in the back of your mind get answered. That's what happened with the barefoot trimmer. And I did a lot of workshops, clinics, lots of study, and I started trimming for just my friends and family, and it kind of became addictive because I saw a lot of horses, rehabilitated horses with navicular syndrome, horses that had foundered, and so I had dressage horses, endurance horses, barrel horses, front yard ornament horses, all become sound and do really well under my care, and so I just started trimming more and more and more.
So you became a farrier, just so to speak, and a barefoot trimmer.
Well, yes, a farrier, yes, the definition of a farrier is one that trims horse hooves, and then the secondary definition is a blacksmith. And so I have natural barefoot trimmer on my cards, and I call myself a barefoot trimmer because a lot of people automatically associate a farrier with being a blacksmith, and I am not a blacksmith, and I do not shoe horses. So.
Okay, so you mainly do it to ensure the horse can walk on the ground without shoes, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, and so the natural rocks and the terrain, they can get used to that. And this is actually your apprentice, Jill.
This is my apprentice, Jill. She has been working with me since January, and she's a natural. She's a natural with training horses. She's a natural trimming horses. And she already has about 25 horses of her own that she cares for, takes care of, trims them every 6 weeks. And I had a lot of clients in North Alabama, but I'm kind of transitioning into West Georgia, and so I'm giving all of my clients in the northern counties to Jill.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You got your own business, and actually we talked about this earlier, that if Krista happens to come home, that you're willing to train her to let her be your apprentice too?
Absolutely. I am all about sharing knowledge. I've trained a lot of my clients to trim their own horses. I only like to work 1 day a week because I have my own farm, I homeschool, being a wife, keeping the house clean. There's a lot to keep me busy, so I'm just interested in trimming 1 day a week. So I'm happy to train other people, and I've watched several of Daniel's videos, and I'm really excited to meet Krista, and I would love to train her to be able to trim goats, horses, donkeys, mules, cows.
Cows. I was wondering about that, if you did cows.
Well, cows are difficult, very, very difficult, and unless they're trained really nicely or sedated. So I'm just using my, well, actually, she is a little bit more in need of a trim than the last goat that you showed me. So I'm just going to clean the dirt out. It's really, really, really important for your goats to keep their hooves trimmed, and especially when they're lactating and you're feeding more protein than usual. You really have to stay on top of it. I almost have to trim my goats every like 2 weeks. They grow so much when I'm milking because of the amount of feed.
Okay, you already done 1 foot. It's already over with.
Yeah.
It's already done. It's
So
over
with
with.
my goats being bigger, I always just put them on the milk stand, and I pick up each foot individually. But with these little ones, this is definitely the way to go. Hi.
Okay, baby dogs.
And so when you're trimming, you just want to follow the natural shape of this fleshy part of their hoof right here. You just want to follow that. And if you stay on top of it, you'll never get into a situation where you have a deformed hoof and have issues.
Yes, we're gonna do this.
Hi there.
Lola. Her name was Lola. She was my brown-eyed girl.
Because of the rocks that we have with our nice hard like concrete ground, their hooves are doing a lot of self-trimming, which is fantastic. Because you let them out and they run around, their hooves are in a lot better shape than if you just kept them in their pen all the time. Get that out, get that.
That was good.
Yeah, it's okay, girl. It's okay.
It's okay now.
And so if you just kind of push up against them to where they feel a little bit safer, you don't. And you really want to stay on top of your trimming because just like a dog, the longer you let them get, the further down the click will come.
Yeah.
So if they get into a
She's got a little bird.
their feet are not bad at all. You hardly need a trim. You hardly need a trim. And you'll find with your goats that some will have harder hooves than others. Some will naturally wear just running around, and then others will grow like crazy. So you can't judge them all based on one. You have to look at every single goat and make sure that their hoof care is sufficient. You never get out. You just want to be real careful when you're doing this, and remember that you can always take off more, but you can't take less once you cut. So,
So what did we do to my herd of goats today? I mean,
Well, Daniel's goats, their hooves are actually in fantastic shape. He has a lot of rocks around here, and they pretty much roam around during the day, and so they do a lot of self-trimming. But you have to be really careful with goats and stay on top of their hoof care, especially when they're lactating and you're feeding a lot of extra protein for milk production. I have full-size goats, Alpines and Nubians, and when I'm milking, I actually have to trim my does about every 2 weeks. So today, I just very quickly and easily trimmed off the little bit of excess growth that they had, and you just follow the sole of the foot, the natural shape, the soft tissue. You just follow that when you're clipping the goat hooves. It's very easy. People are always really hesitant to trim their own goat hooves, afraid that they're gonna do something wrong. So I always say, just take a little bit at the time, because you can always take more, but if you take too much, you obviously can't put it back on. So just go slow, little cuts, and you can
Tell me
absolutely
a little
do
bit
it.
more about the natural rocks and stuff for horses.
Well, natural barefoot hoof care, a horse's hooves can only be conditioned for the environment it lives in. So if you have horses in a pasture where all the rocks have been removed and there's grass, that horse is only going to be sound out walking on other terrain that is like the environment where they live. So I encourage my clients, if they're going to be taking their horses to a mountainous area to ride, if they're going to be going on dirt roads where there's gravel and rock, that they bring those rocks and that gravel into their paddock, into their pastures in the high traffic areas, gate crossings, around the water trough, around the hay ring where the minerals and salt is, because a horse's hoof can only be conditioned for the environment it lives in. So with a barefoot trim, which means we have a very excessive rolled toe, low heels, where our goal is for the horse to develop a really nice callus on the sole of their foot. So bringing the rocks in, it takes a while, and of course this isn't a blanket statement because some horses have metabolic issues. There's insulin resistant horses. We have horses that their coffin bone has fallen, they're flat footed, and so there's tenderness because of all of these things, and we have to work based on each individual horse and the health and the conformation of their hoof. But let's just say for an absolutely healthy hoof, we can condition that hoof for any terrain the rider wishes to take the horse to by bringing that environment into the horse's everyday living area.
Well, that's interesting. It taught me a lot, but I hope y'all got a lot from that too, because I learned a lot. But I thank them very much for coming and doing this, especially on a day like today. It's freezing out here, as you can tell, and it's cold, and our coldest snap that we've had in Alabama. I know it's snowing everywhere else in the country, but we're supposed to get some tonight, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, I love you, and I'll catch you on the next video. Anna, baby, I'll see you later, baby. I love you. Ani Ove Ocha means I love you in Hebrew. Later, guys. Come on, Nova. That Nova's going to be a little difficult.